Here I come to save the day. Alright. Hey Hacksters, it is What the Wednesday, and therefore I have a what the for you. Here is something that I've been working on for the last embarrassingly long amount of time, and this is basically enabling my robot owl, Archimedes. He's over there. Say hi, Archimedes. Whoop. Yeah, to talk to other robots using Chirp, which is a machine-to-machine communication language, which basically makes them sound like R2-D2, as you will see in a moment, and they'll be able to send each other commands and messages and even talk to humans and vice versa and stuff. It's been a time. It's been a road of difficulty and pain, and I wanted to share some of that anguish with you because misery loves company. So, without further ado, I'm going to take you through all the things that I've tried so far to make this work. Because I want to make a little wrist-mounted or handheld controller that you'll be able to push different like emoji buttons on there and trigger the robot to do like a little animation dance or whatever, you know. Yeah. So I even made this whole cool little thing. Look at it. It's got buttons soldered on and everything. It's so beautiful. It's got a little buzzer. It's got a little power. It's got an indicator LED so you can know what's happening with it. It totally doesn't work. Why? Because, let's see. What I was using here is the WTV020M01. Those are all zeros. And Arduino using this tutorial from Nerd Club, which says, just turn off the TV and make something, which, you know, that's a good sentiment. This is from 2016, so maybe things have gotten better since then, but it's the same module, and it seems to have the same problems that they're describing, which is that you have to use a very specific type of SD card, micro SD card, and I did not have the right specific type of SD card. The interesting thing about this module is it's got this weird little gate flap thing that I can never remember how exactly you open and close it. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit out of focus because it's close up, but like, look at this thing. It's a micro SD card thing that kind of opens and closes, and then you're supposed to like, how does this work? Do you do that? Do you just like snap it? I'm going to break it. I think you do something along those lines, and then you like hinge it down and then like, you know, slide it along or something. And yeah, it's apparently heinous to work with, and that's exactly what I found as well. I followed this as closely as possible. They seem to have some really nice workarounds, but part of the problem with this device is that it uses a proprietary format, .84, and so you have to use this converter to convert your existing files to that file format. And while there is a tool for that, Chirp, let's look at Chirp really quick. .io requires a not very specific format, but it does rely on bit rates and, you know, frequency sampling and things like that. And it is important to have the right file format. And when I converted it, it totally didn't work. In fact, I think it might not have played at all. And so this one was pretty much a bust. Not just because of using the wrong kind of speaker, but I think that even the LED wasn't lighting up properly, which was supposed to be showing sort of that it was doing activities. So I tried out another module that I actually found in my stash here. And this is the DF Player Mini, which is made by DF Robot, a company that I know and trust. They make lots of cool stuff. However, this appears to be based on the same chip, the WTV 02, whatever it was, 020M01, and it has some of the same limitations. It requires, let's see, like it seems to be a little bit easier to work with, but at the same time, its controls are very limited. So what I want to be able to do is like push a bunch of buttons, right? And have one button per emoji, and then it like plays that chirp. I've actually done this before with the Bare Conductive Touchboard, but I wanted something a little bit smaller. Let's look at that, actually. Chirping hat. This will make sense in just a second. So what I could have done is just do another round of this project, which is like a hat that you touch the little things and it sends chirps and it sounds all nice and it's really easy. But it's large. That's the problem. It's a little bit larger than an Arduino Uno. It's about the size of a Raspberry Pi. And it's got all these, it's got 12 touch contacts. All you do is touch it, and then, I might end up doing this again, but I've since cannibalized the touchboard for another project because it's so good and so cool and so easy to use. All you do is drag MP3s onto the board, which appears as a flash device connected to your computer, and then you're good. That's it. Maybe I should go back to that. If this latest thing doesn't work out, I'll go back to that. But I want something a little bit more compact. With the DF Player Mini, the issue is that the controls here are really limited. You can play, you can pause, you can stop, and you can skip to the next track, but you can't, and you can play something from a folder, but you can't really just have like 8 buttons and each of them plays a different track. So that functionality, it turns out, is something that I really want. Wait, you can set different EQs? Normal, pop, rock, jazz, classic, and bass. Wow, that's cool. This is still a cool little module that I might use for something else. It's just not good for this particular application. Then I tried with the SparkFun audio sound breakout, which I found amongst my devices. This is a tiny little breakout. It's very cute. In your SparkFun Red, also you put your micro SD card on here, and unfortunately the problem with this one is that it's just not well documented. Like, it looks like it should be perfect. You've got this, is that actually a speaker connection or a LiPo connection? It's probably for a speaker. You do have speaker positive and negative pins on here. You've also got play and next and busy and stuff. So some cool options, but yeah, unfortunately all the reviews for this thing are pretty not thrilled about the documentation. So MP3 mode by default and poor documentation. Yeah, there's a bunch of different issues, and like having to format the SD card to a specific file type. Yeah, so this seemed like it was not going to be super fun either. Next up, I tried with the Adafruit Hallow wing, and this was very nearly the perfect answer. So, what do we got so far? We've had this WTV 020M01, we've got this DF Player Mini, we've got the SparkFun micro SD audio module, and then I was like, well, when I was at SuperCon last year, they gave us all these badges with the Adafruit Hallow wing, which is very exciting. It can, run off of a LiPo. You've got all this cool, you put sensors in. You've got _C connector. You've got a NeoPixel out. You've got a speaker connector. You've got all these GPIOs to plug into. It's a beautiful, wonderful little board, and you've got a little screen that you could put stuff on, which would be great. You could, like, when you play the thing, you could show the right emoji that corresponds to it, and it's got an on-off button, which I always freak out about because they're so useful and no one likes them. Now this actually seems to play chirps, right? I loaded the chirps onto here. It also shows up as a flash device. It makes it really easy to load audio files onto here. And if you want to just play audio files for whatever reason, it's a great board for that. It does the job. But even though I made this video like when? A little while ago, and it worked! It worked during the demo! It's like the opposite of your normal thing. It worked during the video for like half an hour, and then afterwards, it no longer works. I don't know why. It still plays the files. You can see it like even toggling stuff to happen on the matrix board. It's so beautiful, and it works, and it just makes my heart sing. And then now it still makes the same sounds, but the feeling just isn't there, because if you look at, this is the Chirp app where you can, okay, so first up, let's say, did I say like blue, right? And I want to send that, here's what it sounds like. Right? Something like that. And that's what this is doing. And during the video, that worked! So this app also has a receive mode, which is just always on, hey, stop, which is always on while the app is open. And although I do this now, nothing. There's no received message. I'll show you in a second what it looks like when it works. Hopefully. Hopefully it keeps working past the video this time. Yeah, so these are all supposed to be showing you emojis, but they're not, because somehow, after resetting the board, or like power cycling it once or twice, I have to stop picking it up by the touch contacts. It just doesn't, something changed, and it doesn't work anymore, and I don't know why. It would have been so cool though, right? I mean, even if I could just like hook up one of these modules onto there, and have that like, the touch things connected that way, because it's such a cool board, and I still gotta find a cool use for this, because there's all kinds of, there's some really cool tutorials about it. The documentation on this thing is great. It works beautifully. I think it's just that the chirp protocol is a little bit finicky still, and you know, you've got to have the right something. I don't know. There's some really great tutorials on here, including one by Philip Burgess, who does tons of cool cosplay and different types of costumes and stuff. Very cool. So no hard feelings. Now, this is the new hope. This represents the future as far as I'm concerned. I really hope it does, because it's what I've got working now, and we'll see. Now it's not going to work because it's a live demo, you know, that's how it goes. But we'll we'll try and make it work. I should have taken a video while it was working before, just in case. But yeah, this is the Adafruit Audio FX mini soundboard, wave OGG trigger, so wave files, OGG files, and 16 megabytes of flash memory. Very nice. There's another variant of this that has 2 megs of flash, which would be plenty, and it has an amplifier built in, which I feel like I might actually want. You'll see why in a second. But look at this demo they've got. This is exactly what I want! It's what I want right there! Except that it doesn't have a LiPo battery connector, it looks like, but maybe it does on the other side. I mean, this one also, it doesn't seem to have a charging circuit, but it has a connector. In fact, you can get a little LiPo charging circuit to just sit on top of it there. Like, you can barely see it in that picture because it's sitting on top of another board. And that's what I want for this. I just have to wait for it. But yeah, so the Audio FX Mini soundboard from Adafruit is my new best friend, and I'm gonna hope that it works. So wish me luck, because it worked before. So eventually, if this keeps working, I'm going to hook up a bunch of buttons to it, and it's going to be beautiful, and life will be great, and we'll move on. But I want to give it a lot of testing first, just because of what happened before. And I don't want to put in all the effort to make something like this when, if it's not going to work. So all you got to do here is find a ground pin, and then hook it up to one of the number pins. And I'm going to put my phone here so you can see in all its cracked glory what happens here. Yes, okay, cool. I'm going to toggle one of these. And it's very quiet, but it works! Look it! I got a little emoji heart! It's sparkling even. That is so exciting. So, this is my new hope. I want to put a little charging circuit on it with a LiPo battery so it's rechargeable and gorgeous, and then I'll be able to talk to all the robots with this, and all I have to do is build the other part where the robots actually respond. But that's going well too! I hope, I think, you know, knock on wood, whatever is made of wood around here, and it seems to be doing okay. Again, it's very quiet, but weirdly it seems like the phone doesn't need it to be that loud. Which could make it even more magical, but I do love the way that it sounds, you know. Wait, it didn't receive anything that time. I think maybe the sound is just quiet enough to be on the edge, but we did get a little waving hand that time. Yeah, I want to be able to program in different poses and animations for the owl robot to do when people send it little messages and stuff. So, yeah, it seems to be working. I want to add rechargeability. I want to add a little case to mount it onto my hand or whatever. And hopefully this is the future. So check that out. It's the Adafruit Audio FX Mini Soundboard. It's 20 bucks. They got 20 in stock. Should work for most of your needs. I tried it with another little speaker. Works fine with that one as well. I might upgrade to this one because it's got less space, but I don't need a lot of space, but it has And I also don't need stereo audio, but it does have a built-in amplifier, which would be nice. And then also this little lithium battery charging add-on, which would be really nice. No, it'll enable it to stay at a pretty respectable wrist-mounted size. Yeah, there's another one that I was sort of ogling, but I'm afraid that this would also be a huge pain to work with. DF Robot seems to have a few cool options. But yeah, if you're curious, check out chirp.io. All kinds of cool stuff happening with this. There's the Chirp touch interface hat if you want to check out the bare conductive touch board, which is super cool, really convenient for all kinds of sound projects that don't need to be super tiny. And yeah, hopefully this has helped you. If you're trying to do any sound controlled projects or sound integrating projects, what to avoid, because there's a lot to avoid. Yeah, let's just see if there's any questions before I wrap up here. Hola, hola, hola. Hey, what's up? Mohib says, fold down and slide with the, I'm assuming referring to the SD card thing on here and not to actual dance moves. What? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. Thanks, Mohib. So, what he was just saying is that you first fold, so you put your little micro SD card in there, right? And then you fold it down while it's slid all the way that way. It can hinge down. It's kind of finicky. Well, it worked a second ago, now it's not working anymore. Ah, I hate you. I hate you so much. There we go. Fold it down. You gotta really like, push it all the way to the other side, and then you slide it this way, and it clicks into place. Cool. Oh, well, he objects to me saying that the board is my new best friend. That's true. Heaps is my best friend. Fair enough. Cool. Yeah. Have an awesome rest of your What the Wednesday. Hopefully, it gets a little bit less what the from here on out. But yeah, hack on. And send us your questions for another Wednesday.